Alright, in this video I wanted to talk about week 3 of the Golden Gift Box crossover event. I will start off by saying I think that week 3 was the worst of the 3 weeks. Had a lot of just odd designs. And basically I'll start off here. So I did pick up, but I will not show the common here, the unnecessarily ornate useless weapon just for show. It's basically a multi-element. I believe it chooses an element at the beginning of a turn, so it doesn't change per hit, if I remember correctly in my very, very brief testing. But it does an SP heal for melee and ranged toggles, and an MP heal for the magic version, up to 4 hits. I guess it's okay. I tested the magic. I want to say it was maybe like 200 MP a turn. I guess that's nothing to sneeze at. If you were to use it with maybe Rejuve Necklace, if you were a Beastmaster and you had some MP heal, Pet and Guess, maybe use it with Essence of Carnage or something. It would just be kind of an add-on. By itself, it's not the greatest. You're not going to be using random element stuff anyway. It's just almost never better. It's just throwing an 8-sided dice, to be honest with you. But anyway, so that one was kind of an odd weapon, which would, at least by the name of it, you were kind of expecting it. There's Phoenix Blade. That's a melee fire weapon. It basically has burn and heals associated with it. It's a rare. I guess it's okay. It's probably worth a rare if you're a warrior and you're not just trying to one of those damage per second builds. I picked up the Dragonhead Archon. I'll show that in a minute. We also have the Call Stone Assassin spell. So again, another guest call, no summons version. I don't know why they're making this decision for calls only instead of summons. I don't know if there is a greater decision at hand or what's going on with that. But basically, once the monster is at or below 50% hit points, you can click on it and spend SP to do I guess it's a guest-based skill. I guess they just did it for the sake of trying something new. I don't know, but basically it just gives the guest celerity. I don't know anybody who would be willing to wait until the monster's at half health for you to use something, so I don't think it's worth an ultra rare at all. And then you have the Mirror Vordred armors. I picked up the light one. I'll show it in a minute. It's a bit odd. Then you have the Misks, which I did not pick up. I do not really see it as being a must-have. I think they should be a rare. But basically, they're doing blocking, and I think they give heal resist. I know there's a lot of players that love that heal resist, but I don't think heal resist is all that special personally. I think it also does the typical ×5 damage to light and ice respectively. I don't think it's anything special. And then you have the armaments. It's an MRM toggleable weapon that I'll show in a second. They eat has 2 modes. They eat blind and they eat burn. The blind is for more damage, and the burn is to heal. But I'm going to start off with the armor. They did bug fix some stuff and made the blind better. It is also color custom. I've been messing with colors on mine. I don't know what to think about the one I have right now, but this is the armor. You can click the wings and do that. I think maybe it looks better with the wings. but maybe that's attractive to some people. It's certainly not worth making an ultra rare just because it's color custom. I'll say that much. Um, Basically, you have the skill here that it starts off as fully defensive, and you can click on it, it becomes spellcaster lean. So we have some spellcaster lean options in the ultra rare golden gift box category. Again, we actually need gold ones, but uh, so basically this means that mages can use it. I don't know too many mages that are going to prefer the full defensive mode. I think staff tends to think that some people actually still run that type of armor because before Spellcaster Lean came out, that was quote unquote the most optimal because you could use wands or perhaps tombs, which this character currently is using, but I may swap that out. And then you have this toggle here. And so what I'm going to do here actually is just going to actually use the toggle and inflict blind and burn. Let's see what we get. Oh, also that toggle is Ellie lock and it's 5 hits. So most weapon-based skills or weapon attacks top out at 4 hits, but this one is actually 5. So that does give it at least a feather in its cap to make it a little different than all the others. But it just did a 20 blind. That's versus 95% light resist. I think it actually should be 21 at 100%. So it will scale with light. And then the burn's pretty small, 1.58 power after a couple turns. It's really nothing special, to be honest with you. But I believe the effects gained Ellie comp after some bug fixing. And then the middle skill is actually a barrier that's going to take a turn. And it also costs 196 SP and 174 HP. A lot of people are kind of balking at the HP cost because they're calling barrier a heal. So you're using something that costs HP to heal, but yeah, it's kind of a heal, but it's kind of not. It's a status. I don't see any issues with this like at all. It's the barrier scales on endurance. So basically, you're sitting here with 1,553 hit points, and then you can do this barrier. So let's see what we end up with. 994. I got dual Poalalas. It is lucky strikeable. I have actually done 1,500 barrier with a lucky strike. Just to show you here, I'll go ahead and do the Dragon Guard on this character here. And then what you'll see is the let me get some SP here. You'll see the lucky strike happen. So you saw lucky strike. So now I'm at 1,800 barrier. So it is a very, very strong barrier. So if you're really into barriers, it's not bad. You can combine it with things like if you're a mage, you can combine it with things like maybe you wanted to use the Prism Heart Tombs Quick Cast Ellie Shield. So you got a barrier and an Ellie Shield, for example. So again, it's stacking ideas is in many ways is sort of the name of the game here. And so I find that it works well. Again, you can use the Monocrystal Defender, and then you can use something to cast a spell. So I got myself another barrier here, 703 from the weapon, and then the shield actually gave me more. So I'm up to 2640 barrier with an Ellie shield. So you can play defensively with this. I think the design is weird because I think the weapon, it eats blind and it eats burn for heals and for damage, but I haven't actually used the weapon with the armor yet. There is no like mini bonus or anything, but I feel like the blind and the burn are so small, it doesn't really make too much sense to me to use together, to be honest with you. I don't think that I see myself going that route at all. But some people may really like the armor. They may like the color custom uh, side of things. Again, I don't personally find that that's a big deal. And so at the end of the day, I just kind of feel like um, it's just a bit odd. I could see a warrior build in full defensive mode in the weapon based skill taking advantage of warrior lean, and then in the event that for some reason they're, say, maybe they're really low on hit points, they could swap to spellcaster mode. And I don't know if the barrier is any different in spellcaster mode or not. I don't think so, but I have seen claims that the armor's design originally had uh, spellcaster mode in mind affecting healing, and there's people that claim that that may get reversed. I don't know that that's actually accurate or if that's just more well wishing. See, we're up to 4,814 hit points. So I don't really know if that's more well wishing or if it's actually going to happen. Uh, but we'll see. Um, I personally do not think the armor's worth an ultra rare. It's just a little bit weird. The effects do not work on spellcasting. If they change it to work on spellcasting, maybe if you're a whale and you just got a bunch of ultra rares, to go ahead and pick one up, pick both up. But I don't know at the end of the day uh, that I would absolutely recommend it. I actually picked it up just being impatient before knowing what it actually did. Um, Otherwise, I probably would have held off. But that's it for that item. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go on to the actual weapon. So I actually used the weapon on my dodge lash character. Or at least for now, I moved it over to my dodge lash character. The idea here being that it will help me get some damage. Um, so what I'll do here is my typical setup with my dodge lash character. So what I'm going to do actually is turn on blind mode on my weapon and then actually do my blind spell versus light here, and we have a quick 54 blind. Actually didn't do my damn guest on. Actually the afraid part worked. Do this one more time and it should get blind to the floor, or 75.5 there. It's going to be pretty close here. So just do this one more time. And we'll actually not reach the floor. 114. I forgot to toggle on my shield, I think. Should be healing MP for dodge here. No, I turned it on. Alright, so now I have this blind. So what I can do, which I don't know that I really have, I guess I have Light Realm Champion. So I guess what I could do is actually... So basically you got Blazing Mode, Eat, Burn, Status to heal, and then you have the Energy Mode, and you, let's see, for greater damage. So I'm going to go ahead and use the weapon-based skill. and use MP. So we'll get to see what kind of damage we're dealing with no boosters or whatever. But it is 160% to light. It's going to eat. It's going to be a blind eater with the weapon-based skill here. So that's all right. Yes, especially for the magic version. See, we're down to 55 blind. Let's do this one more time. So it's not bad. If I use some boosters, maybe a bag of nuts, some different ideas, the damage will kind of go way up. All right, so I'm going to move on, and I'm going to actually change over to burn mode. Let's see. There's the ranged, and there's the melee art. You can see. I'm not sure if the weapons and stuff are color customizable, but most likely not. All right, so there's the magic. So what I'm gonna do now, this time, actually, I'm just gonna actually burn the monster a couple times. See what I can get here. Some burns. Luckily, this spell has options for blind and burn. All right, so we just have a 2.7 power burn for 5 rounds. Let's do this one more time. See if we can just get that power up. Just want to make sure I'm eating max. So now I'm going to go ahead and Ellie lock. And we'll see what kind of damage we get here. So keep in mind I have 1571 hit points. Actually, it's still on blind mode, I guess. Let's go ahead. There we go. All right, 1402. Sorry about that. So we're up to 1835 there. Not a bad heal. In a lot of ways, you might as well just leave the burn there and use a different heal. It's funny that they want to do away with damage-based healing, but then they introduce something that eats a status to heal while you attack. So in a way, it's kind of no different. I mean, it's different, but it's not that different. Let's do this one more time. All right, I'm going to use the Essence Sword just to drain my hit points a little bit. So we're at 1887 up to 2520, so that's a little bit closer to 700, about 650. So it's okay. There is some burn remaining. But that's the weapon in a nutshell. Again, there's a light and an ice version, so maybe it's worth an ultra rare. I mean, if you're a burn build like and you want to use it to heal, then I think it would be fine. I could probably use this weapon on my burn build character which is what I'm going to go to next, um, or my dodge last character. But my burn build character mostly utilizes um, other weapons that like basically pay SP in order to inflict burns and stuff. So, or pay somehow to inflict burns instead of eating the burn to heal. But like I said, I don't know if it's really worth keeping it on this character here or my burn character. I might eventually get the ice version for my burn character. I'll just keep an eye on when this stuff may leave, but I'm going to go ahead and end this with my burn character and just show off the Dragonhead Archon, which is this weapon here. I think this actually might be my favorite item in the release, oddly enough. I feel like there's a couple of instances in which it actually kind of works better. It pays in spell damage that when you cast a spell, it will actually do burn. So what I'm going to do first is just a basic I'm going to do a fire spell. It's up to 4 hits. I was using this with Seeing Red. So the other thing that this does is it gives you a hit point regeneration effect for a couple rounds. So if you cast spells repeatedly and you're able to regenerate your MP, much like this setup here, or you can use like Fairy Godmother or whatever other guest you need, and you're able to cast multiple spells, you're basically paying, you're healing yourself. But I wanted to show the difference between this spell here and Griffin Airstrike, actually. But I was using Seeing Red because I'm basically inflicting panic, which is lowering monster offense, while I'm giving myself a heal status. So it kind of works together in that regard. What I'm going to start off doing with Surtur's Promise, which is an overcharged spell. So what we have is a permanent 3.14 power burn when used together. And the Searing Smoke there is actually a poison. You cast it again. It's double that, 6.29. So you can get some pretty big stacked burns pretty quickly there. Keep in mind that the damage that I just did is free. It just removed the whole burn though. Without the burn, you'll see the damage is a lot lower. So this is one of those older uncapped eater items. So after a couple turns, we had a 6.29 power permanent burn. So permanents are rated at 10 turns. So we're talking about 100% melee, and then 6.29 is another 60, 2.9, so it's 162% melee burn. This time, what I'm going to do is use the Griffin Airstrike spell, which costs hit points. So this also works because it's going to cost hit points to cast, but this weapon actually heals you. So as you're going to see, you're going to watch the hit points drop as soon as the first bomb lands, and then I'm going to re-heal. So I go from 2958 this time to 2784, and then I heal back up to 2901. So basically it's a 57 hit point difference. So I lost 57 hit points as opposed to the, what was it, 200 and something from before. Also, the burn here is going to be 7.4 for 5 rounds. So let's do this one more time. The nice thing about the permanent burn is it's always going to at least have the 10 round valuation in terms of eating. But now we're up to 13.32 for 5 rounds. So it's actually more melee valuation to eat to do this particular spell. And again, keep in mind, I am healing. I casted 2 of those burn spells, so I should have a lot less hit points, but I had, as you could see, I was basically back up to full heal. So I like to inflict burns on this character and then eat the burns. And then I'll finish up what I typically do, which I've shown this before, but this may change. But if this character has all the Nekos, has both Luna and Soul, it is a lucky beast mage, but I like to go ahead and transfer this permanent burn that I got for myself. And then I no longer have a burn, and there's a permanent harm burn there. And I could go ahead and eat this, and it would do some pretty good damage. But I'm going to go ahead and just do one round. I spent the 653 MP. So now I have a permanent harm burn plus this other fire burn. And it looks like I have a void burn also from the Arcane Rift key. So there's a bunch of burns there. And then I'm going to go ahead and eat that, and you're going to see the damage even higher than what I showed you a second ago. Actually, not really. That was kind of a weak set of hits. But basically, that's what I like to do, is I'll just inflict these burns. And then I'm actually, if I'm using the free burn eater, it's like a spell that's for free, right? So I'm spending the 653 MP on the front side, and then the next turn I'll eat it, not spending any resources, plus my MP healing guest and pet setup. I'm almost back to full on my MP. And again, this regen, I haven't actually used this in conjunction with Shadowrend Membrane Shield, which I don't have here, but I could, or the Myrmidon Shield from last year's donation contest, to see how those stack. But I'm pretty sure at the end of the day those would stack pretty nicely. But that's all the items that I have. Again, that one ornately useless weapon, it's just a per hit heal that's a set amount per heal. It's just alright. There's better options out there. Again, at the end of the day, I think week 3 was the worst of the 3. I may pick up another armor, may pick up another Mirror Vordred weapon. I don't know that I'd pick up the Misk, to be honest with you. But maybe if this stuff sticks around for a while and I have some extra ultra rares and stuff at some point later, I'll do it. But I don't think they're must-haves right now. That's it for this video.